It's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere.
Remember reading Rainbow? Take a look. It's in a book. It was a great show on PBS, Channel 11 here in Chicago, whose host is currently in the news for the right reasons. Mr. LaVar Burton, Giraldi for all of you Trekkie fans, was one of the first visual ambassadors who championed the joy of reading. After helping educate the world about the legacy of slavery in America, after his seminal role in Alex Haley's landmark Roots miniseries, LaVar Burton has come to symbolize what it means to be on a quest toward education and enlightenment. So it is because of his roles, his advocacy work, and what it represents that LaVar Burton is going viral. Ever since Alex Trebek lost his battle with pancreatic cancer, the show Jeopardy has been featuring guest hosts in Trebek's place. They have included former Jeopardy champion Ken Jennings, journalist Katie Couric, and daytime host Dr. Oz. And locally for us Bear fans, even worse, Green Bay Packers QB Aaron Rodgers recently stepped onto the Sony soundstage. The show, like any show, must go on.
We'll show him what this baby can do, sir.
Give me everything you got, LaVar.
Aye, sir.
Enter Giraldi. I mean, Mr. LaVar Burton. There is an internet campaign started by fans to have LaVar Burton become the next permanent host of Jeopardy! Nearly 175,000 people have signed an online petition started at change.org that lauds what it would mean to have this man, this black man, be the face of a game show host synonymous with intellectual acumen. This week, the New York Post, of all places, ran an article April 6, putting the spotlight on this grassroots movement that now has the support of Mr. Burton. With all the nuance of a Thor's hammer pushing a nail into a bookshelf, Burton used his Twitter account to link the petition. Burton wrote, "Leaving this here in the event that the powers that be are listening." He wasn't direct, but the message is clear. You just have to read in between the lines. And after all, it's all about reading.
Reading rainbow. Butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high.
A book. Remember those things? You know, the things with pages. The things that you vowed to read at least 15 months ago while you've been stuck in the house, quarantined, hoarding toilet paper and Lysol. Remember making the hard choice between cracking the spine of that bound work or picking up the remote. Then several hours later, you were sure that Carol Baskins really fed her husband to tigers, or the 6 loaves of homemade sourdough bread that would last the week, or in my case, banana bread. Or you were rewinding the TV to figure out if he really asked the doctor if people could drink Clorox. And he did. But don't you do it. We know that the COVID-19 added up to people gaining as many pounds while spending so much time at home. And despite those fitness commercials, it was hard to remember to exercise the body, and even harder, the push to exercise the mind. If you actually managed to read during the height of the pandemic, congratulations. Here at Interludes, we want to encourage you to continue reading. After all, it's a great way to stay vital, develop empathy, and become the people we are destined to be. A diversity of books should come from a diverse range of sources, not just one major monolithic monopoly that sells books and everything else from that same .com address. Like HBCU, Black booksellers have always been a vital resource to present a physically safe place for discussion and a source for different options outside of the mainstream. As we venture back out into retail spaces in a post-COVID-19 vaccinated world, make sure that Black booksellers like AfriWare Bookstore are on our shopping list. They've been there, fully stocked with copies of masterworks from James Baldwin, Toni Morrison, Langston Hughes, Alice Walker, Maya Angelou, and August Wilson. As retail chains like Walden Books and Borders have come and gone, like Joe Turner, African Americans have remained steady in the foundation laid by Black publishers and Black authors who always have found a home on the shelves of Black booksellers, real or virtual. On today's show, I talk with Nzingha Nommo, owner of AfriWare Bookstore, based in suburban Chicago, about the business of bookstores, how she got started, and the future of reading. After the interview, I will offer a modest proposal, a soft open, to begin a new commitment to reading. Today, African American Bookstores. I'm Valarie Johnson, and this is Interludes. Interludes, a pure Lighthouse production. We would like to thank our local title sponsor, A1 Pestmasters, for supporting Interludes. This episode brought to you by Montevilla Coffee and Tea. And now, all the way live from the south side of Chicago, give it up for your host, Valarie Johnson. First, let's meet today's guest, Nzingha Nommo, owner of AfriWare Bookstore, one of a handful of Black-owned bookstores in the greater Chicago area. Afterwards, we'll talk book club. Hi guys, my name is Valarie Johnson and welcome to Interludes. I would love to introduce to you a bookstore owner here in the Chicago, Illinois area of the AfriWare Bookstore in Maywood, Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet.
Yes, it's Nzingha Nommo. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, not be here virtually. Yes, I should say.
Virtually. And where did let's start out with this. Where did the idea to open an Afrocentric bookstore originally come for you?
My story is pretty different because I had no intentions of going into business. I was in corporate America, minding my business as an electrical engineer at AT&T.
Whoa.
And yeah, making lots and lots of money.
And being very smart, an engineer.
Yes, and mind you, I was in engineering because it was recommended by my beloved dad that I should not go into music, which is, I have a musical background, because it's not a sustainable career in terms of keeping yourself roof over your head and such. As another field. So I asked the advisor, the school advisor, Mr. Curtright, I said, what other majors can I go into that do not require reading? Because I hate reading. I actually said those words, and now I'm a bookseller. So
Wow.
I know a lot about the fact that there is a book for everybody, but every book is not for everybody. And I was not reading books that were empowering to me, that were reflective of our heritage, and that makes all the difference of the world in the world.
Wow.
So yeah, that's so how did I come around? So I was in corporate America. I went into electrical engineering for those reasons. And one day I went to a Black History Month event and I saw greeting cards with
Oh.
Black images on them. Now, this is before they were so plentiful as they are today. So people have to think back in your mind. Can you imagine like the first time you ever saw one? And I thought they were the most beautiful thing in the whole world. I felt that I could sell them with my eyes closed, because they would sell themselves.
Nice.
And the next morning, I woke up in the middle of the night, wrote a business plan for the entrepreneur who made those greeting cards.
Mhm.
I volunteered my services. I just wanted to, be a part of it. And I ended up being a very good salesperson. Eventually, at the recommendation of a friend, added books, even though I thought Black people didn't read. I
Oh
had all
no.
these misconceptions, right? Of course, after I added the books to my line, that was the highest selling item in my inventory,
Mhm.
and the rest is history. So, um, you know, I know that
Mhm.
culture matters.
It does.
And to have my master's degree in electrical engineering and not have read The Miseducation of the Negro, for example, Invisible Man, and
Mhm.
Black Economics, those are the three books that also really changed my life. To have had that level of education without a cultural background, I knew made all the difference in the world. And I felt like if this is something that changed my life, I would
Mhm.
love to do that for other people. I get goose pimple happy when others see themselves in the literature that they are reading, either in the images they're in or in the content of those books. It just makes me so happy because you are getting affirmed when you're reading about yourself in
Right.
instances outside of being a criminal, which is all the only
Mm.
way we were depicted and still are depicted
Mhm.
on television. And that's what opens up your possibilities in life, your imagination, your
Yes.
outlook on
Yes.
life. It just has so many beautiful offspring, right, as a result. And so that's
Yes.
why I'm so passionate about it, because it just fuels me to know that, at least one more person has changed their outlook on themselves, and therefore their possibilities, what they can do in this world. Because when you start reading about all the accomplishments that we have made,
Mhm.
the ironing board, just one item you can take, the ironing board, which is in every single household in America.
I got one.
This is our bloodline. You know what I'm saying? This
Exactly.
genius is in our bloodline. So if our ancestors did it, we can do it.
Wow.
We
Wow.
can do it.
I just interviewed an African American author of several books about soul food, which refers to our cultural backing of creating, food for our soul and
Out of
from the
scraps.
culture out of
Yes.
scraps, and yeah.
Yes.
And I don't believe that his books are being stocked at your bookstore, but here's my question. How do you decide, just based on what you've told me about the books that influenced you, what books do you stock and what books do you leave off your shelves? What kind of is that determining factor of, okay, I'm going to use a Walter E. Mosley versus another author? What's your determination?
Well, thankfully, it has changed since I first opened the store, which was a much more limited view because it was just the books that I liked,
Okay.
which surefire way to go out of business.
Okay.
But eventually, thankfully to the
Mhm.
people who come in the store, constantly asking, constantly giving you feedback. You know what? You should
Mhm.
carry such and such a book. You might not have
Yeah.
heard of it, but I think it would go well here. As an entrepreneur, I would
Mhm.
say your greatest asset is in keeping an open mind and knowing you do not have all the answers to everything.
All right.
And the people that you come into contact with are so brilliant, and listen to them and consider very seriously their suggestions. So while I started out with mostly nonfiction, because those are the books that changed my life, I have thankfully expanded to science fiction, for example,
good.
Christian fiction with Kimberly Lawson Roby, and the African futurism is Dr. Nnedi Okorafor. Of course, I have cookbooks. I have books on relationships. I have some used books. Those books aren't online, so you have to come into the store for those. Those are like $5 each. I have books on photographic books on photography. There is an endless supply of books that I have access to.
Good.
If they're not on the shelves, there's the high probability that I can order them, because over the 28 years that we've been in business, I've definitely expanded my suppliers that I work with, and I'm able to get almost everything that people are looking for, as long as they're in print. That's the main difference. But there are some that you can compare on Amazon, for example. I even don't like saying that word, but there's some that you can compare on a large retail online outlet that we beat the price on, because we are not taking advantage of the availability of the item, and we're offering it at a fair price, as opposed to those who are saying, oh, well, nobody knows, there's only 10 available. They might surmise, and inflating the price. So you should always check with your local Black bookstore first and see if they can stock it, and just give us the opportunity. We would love to rise to the occasion and maybe surprise you.
Well, I know. I mean, that would definitely surprise me or make me happy, especially if there's specific authors that I'm looking for. Tell me about your podcast, Black Biz Banter. What motivated you to start this conversation with your customers?
You know what? I wanted to back up just a moment, because I don't think I answered your question about the author that you were saying may want to get on our shelves. I did recently add an author information page to the website, which is AfriWareBooks.com. In the main menu, there's a tab that you can go to that gives the instructions and how to get the review process started and how to partner with us to do marketing. Because, as you know, post-COVID, well, we want to get to post-COVID, but as we're working our way through COVID, a lot has changed business-wise to work with authors and artists. And that does lead me into your next question about podcasts, is that as we were first, figuring out what COVID was all about, the store was closed physically. Right. All I had was the online presence. So I was looking into what one of my younger customers said, you should do a podcast. It's so easy. And he gave me a link, and I was like, okay, I'll try it. And here we are. We would not have met without
Look at that.
Without this podcast. Yes, I was not doing podcasts before COVID. Wow. No, I was not.
And how has that changed the conversation between you and your customers? Because you weren't able to physically see them, but now doing this podcast, has that enhanced and helped your business?
Absolutely. What it does now is I'm able to offer it as an option, a marketing option for
Okay.
authors to help to promote their work when I do send out my e-blast to, 8,000 people. So if they don't have a book trailer, for example,
Right.
which, some authors do, some authors don't, it might be easier for them to just, set up an interview online, and then I can post that link with the link to the book. So it just opened up so many more options, as well as the blog that I now have that I did not have prior to COVID. It's just interesting, the silver lining amongst, in the clouds of COVID. Of course, there's been a lot of loss, and our hearts definitely go out to those who are grieving the loss of others during this time, this tumultuous time. I mean, politically, in terms of world events, in terms of this mysterious illness, our hearts definitely go out in solidarity to help us just get through this, and remember, our ancestors are resilient, and that as long as we continue to work together, then we can get through this. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I want to make sure I answered your question
you
about
did.
the
You
podcast. Okay.
What is your connection or affiliation with Trinity UCC? Do they support your store? Yeah, Trinity. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So, in addition to our physical location in Maywood, we have branched out as in a partnership with Trinity's Bookstore on the south side of Chicago on 95th. So the inventory of books in the bookstore, this is pre-COVID, of course, AfriWare was supplying and working out the profit with the church. So we promoted a lot of the authors that are housed within Trinity. Oh my goodness, there's so much, so many gifted artists just under one roof. So for them to call it a village is absolutely true to the word. So we were hosting, co-hosting book signings in partnership with Trinity pre-COVID. Now, however, the bookstore has been closed and maintains an online presence directly to my Maywood location. We don't know what the future is going to bring, but it really has been a wonderful partnership. And in the meantime, I've also partnered with a Black-owned art gallery in Wisconsin called Mahogany Gallery, yes, with Brother Scott Terry. So AfriWare's books are also located in another state. Yes.
I love that. I love that. And when you said Black art, I was just like, yay!
Yes, yes.
I have a close friend of mine. Who is her. You go into her house and it's like in a museum of art. It's wonderful. Last question. Last question. What message do you would like for your customers who want to support Black businesses, but they're not quite sure if they'll receive the same quality of service that they might get from other businesses? What message do you want to send to customers that want to support AfriWare?
I would say they deserve the best treatment in the world, period. Let's start there. Wherever they go, they deserve the best treatment. We can partner to ensure that occurs. Some Black businesses, we all make mistakes. We appreciate their feedback. I think the number one recommendation to them would be please provide feedback. We may not know. Please do not presume that we probably should know. Okay, let me not make it sound like, we're just totally oblivious, right? There's some things we probably should know, but we may not have heard it in the unique way that you are going to share it with us so that we will hear it. There's, how you'll tell a child so many times and then somebody else will tell them the same exact thing, and maybe because of the tone, maybe because of the way the moon is in the sky, they hear it on that occasion. Just keep hope alive. I hate to use such a cliche term, but I'm trying to say that, hold out the possibility that we can rise to the occasion to deliver the great customer service that you deserve, right? And if you are not receiving it, please let us know. I definitely have grown tremendously. I would not be where I am today without people telling me, you should consider the wording you have on the website. Just the other day, a customer gave us that feedback because when we were at the height of the sales coming in after the murder of George Floyd, many were seeking literature on how to become an ally. Some were seeking literature in general about Black history. And so our sales soared. And so we had to set up a special table on the site and different phases and all kinds of stuff. Well, that was still on the site and I'd forgotten it was still there. So the customer's like, it's kind of confusing. I'm not sure, when I'm going to get my tracking number. I'm looking at this table. I'm like, oh my gosh, that table is still on there. I process orders every day now. And so you will get that tracking number in a few days. So I didn't know that is the point. And I truly appreciate it and thank the customer for, so I'll say having the courage to say, because I didn't know, I didn't know. And in some cases, I just have to come clean and say, you know what, I have heard that before. I haven't been able to make the time. As long to me as I'm being transparent, that is so important to me. And honest, that comes across. And most customers, they'll say, okay, I understand. And they can make an informed choice that way. But if I'm, shucking and jiving and all that, of course, that's never acceptable. And you should go running. But every Black business is not the same, just as every white or non-Black business is not the same. Right. Give us an opportunity to serve you. Give us an opportunity to serve you.
Yeah, I like that message, and I like that people came to you to get educated, especially after the murder of George Floyd, and was able to get the materials that they needed. And I'm excited to hear over 8,000 subscribers to your newsletter. That's fantastic. It's Nommo.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
If anyone wanted to order books online, because Interludes is kind of all over the place, where would they go?
Oh my goodness, thank you for asking. Our website is AfriWareBooks.com, and I'll spell it. A as in Africa, F as in freedom, RIWARE, books, which is plural, .com. So it's AfriWareBooks.com is our website.
And if people wanted to hear Black Biz banter, where would they go?
You can go to the same place at the top where the menu is located. The blog and the podcast are all separate tabs that you can just click on. Or if you don't see that, you can always email us at AfriWare Books at AfriWareBooks.com.
Wonderful. Ms. Nommo of AfriWare Books, thank you so much for joining us on today. I'm Valarie Johnson, and this is Interludes.
I can go anywhere.
Let's start a book club. Based on your interests and my interests, let's select something you may have read or might have wanted to read. This book is at the end of my reading rainbow. Former FLOTUS First Lady Michelle Obama wrote her story in the pages of Becoming. The book Becoming presents her story growing up on the south side of Chicago, heading off to law school and meeting that skinny smoker whose ambitions would move the family from Hyde Park to 8 years in the White House. I think this moment, this post-COVID-19 moment, is a good time to read or reread Becoming to help decide who it is we want to be as we emerge from a global pandemic. On our May 12th episode, we focus on Michelle Obama's book Becoming, the first selection of Valia Reads Book Club. You're welcome to join in the discussion by Facebook, Instagram, and our other social media platforms. On the next Interludes. If you are for vaccination, if you are for that, I support that. I'm not going to criticize you for it. However, I feel like I know too much, and I'm at pause.
What we don't want to have happen is to have a community of people. It seems like the two biggest doubters right now are white Republican males and African Americans.
To vax or not vax? Next time on Interludes. Interludes. Original concept by Valarie Johnson. Written by Michael Womble. Produced by Michael Womble and Valarie Johnson. Original intro and outro music produced by Kendall Nesbitt. Interludes, a pure Lighthouse production. Brought to you by our national sponsor, Montevia, the natural weight loss coffee and tea brewed with MTC oil and Ramon seeds. For more information, please send an email with the subject Montevia to purelightnyc@gmail.com. Our local title sponsor, A1 Pestmasters, for all your exterminating and pest control needs, call A1 Pestmasters at area code 773-365-9962 or visit their website at a1pestmasters.com. When you book your appointment with A1 Pestmasters, tell them that you heard it first on the podcast called Interludes. Catch our Interludes extra clips and more on our brand new YouTube channel called Interludes.